Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Royalty Cut here, and in today's tutorial I'll be taking you through the process of how to make this beautiful Bubu blouse that you see over here, that is in form of a kaftan and also has a circle drawstring at the side and also a band at the center with a slit. If this video is a video you're interested in, please keep on watching to the end, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also turn on your notification bell to be notified whenever we post a new video. So basically for this tutorial, I'll be making use of this material you see over here. And this is a crepe material, and I have about 2.5 yards here, but I'm not sure that I'll be making use of all the 2.5 yards. If you have 2 yards, it should be able to do this blouse. Now for this, I'm going to go ahead and fold this fabric into two. I'll make sure that the edges are facing each other this way, just like you see me do over here. Now after folding it into two, I'm just going to go ahead and fold it again. I don't know if you can see. I'm going to go ahead and fold this fabric again, making it 4 in total. So I'm just going to go ahead and arrange this for us to start our cutting. So basically at this point, after folding my fabric into 4, this is what I have here. So let's just go ahead and impute the measurements that we'll be working with. So I'm going to go ahead and start by drafting a line here that will be serving as our shoulder line. We can just take this edge for our shoulder. There's no need of drawing a line for it. So I'm just going to go ahead and divide my shoulder to shoulder measurement into 2. And my shoulder to shoulder measurement is 16 inches. But I don't want it to be directly at the shoulder. I want it to be a little bit off by the shoulder. So I'm going to go ahead and add 1 inch to it, making it 9 inches in total. So from this folded edge, that's where I'm taking my measurement from. These two folded edge, I'm going to go ahead and mark 9 inches as our shoulder measurement here. Now after that, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to get our neck width. Now for our neck width, I'm working with 3.5 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 3.5 inches. Since we are cutting the front piece and the back piece together, I'm going to go ahead and mark 2 inches for our neck depth, and I'll go ahead and connect it to get our neck curve. Now, as you can see, this is what we have here. So from this point that I marked my shoulder to shoulder measurement divided by 2, remember that this blouse is in form of a kaftan. Now I'm going to go ahead and impute the measurement that will be giving us that kaftan look. So from this point, I'm going to go ahead and measure 7 inches. Now, if you want that kaftan look at the shoulder area to be a bit more wider, just go ahead and add more inches. And if you want it to be a little bit less in a perfect shape, either do 6 inches or 7 inches. But for me, I'm going to be working with 7 inches. Now, this 7 inches, while working with it, we are going to go ahead and divide it into 2. But before that, let's just go ahead with the drafting. Now, after marking the 7 inches for the kaftan look, I'm going to go ahead and work for our sleeve length. Now, the sleeve length that I'm working with is 13. From this point, I'm just going to go ahead and measuring 13 inches. And I'll be adding extra 1 inch for the folding, making it 14 inches in total. So after marking 14 inches, at this point that I marked 14 inches, I'm going to come down by 1 inch for our shoulder slope. And I'll go ahead and connect this 1 inch that I have here all the way down to the neck width that we have earlier in a slanted way, just like you see me do over here. Now after that, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to get my round sleeve measurement. Now remember that this is a Bubu dress. So for my round sleeve measurement, I'm working with 20 inches. I'll go ahead and divide 20 inches into 2, making it 10 inch. Now from this 1 inch that I marked here, I'll go ahead and impute 10 inch for our round sleeve measurement. So at this point, after marking the 10 inch, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is from the shoulder line, I'm going to be inserting my bust length, and my bust length from the shoulder is 10 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 10 inches here. Now for the measurement, I'm going to go ahead and divide my biggest round body measurement, which is my hip round measurement. I'll go ahead and divide it into 4, and I'm working with 42 inches. 42 inches divided by 4 is 10.5. So at this bust point length, I'm going to go ahead and mark 10.5, and I'll be adding extra 5 inches to it for ease and for the joining. Now remember that this is not a fitted dress, so go ahead and add as much allowance as you want. So for me, I'll be adding 5 inches to this dress. Now after that, I'm going to go ahead and connect this 5 inch that I added here all the way down to this full round sleeve length that I marked earlier. As you can see, this is what we have. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to get the full length of this blouse. Now for the full length, I'll be working with 40 inches. The full length is 39 inches, but I added extra 1 inch for the folding of this blouse. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 40 inches at this point, and I'm going to go ahead and connect this measurement we have here all the way to the full length. But from this armhole line, just make sure that you curve it a little bit so that the line does not come out looking straight, just like you see me do over here. So that is that for the blouse. Now I'm just going to go ahead and cut this out. This point, after cutting this off, this is what we have here. Now the next thing we are going to go ahead and do is to just separate one piece away from this fabric for us to be able to work for the front neckline. And also remember that the front part has a little bit slit at it, it has a band. So I'm just going to go ahead and open this up and take out the inner one. This inner one will be serving as our back piece, so I'm just going to take it out, and I'll go ahead and refold this other one that we have here, just like you see me do over here. After that, the next thing I'm just going to go ahead and do is to draw a straight line from the center of this neck width that we have here. From this neck width we have here, I'm going to be drawing a straight line in a V way, starting from this point. I don't know if you can see. I'm going to be drawing a line from this width part in a V shape first. Then after that, I'm going to go ahead and connect it in a straight way to the full length of this front part that we have here. Now this is what we have at the end. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it out. But if you want an accurate measurement, just make sure that from this center point you have here all the way to this point, that you should have about 3 inches. I don't know if you can see. So let these 3 inches be your guide. So for me, I've already marked it. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut out the center part of this front piece. Cutting it off, this is what we have. So I'm just going to go ahead and place this aside. I'm going to go ahead and take off this front piece that we have here and bring the back piece, making sure that the back piece is facing the right side. So I'm going to go ahead and place the back piece this way, and I'll go ahead and bring one part of the front piece that we cut earlier, making sure that it will be facing right side together with this back piece. So I'm going to go ahead and place one of the front piece this way, making sure that the neck width aligns with this neck width we have for the back piece. And I'll go ahead to and place for the second side of it this way. So after that, the next thing I'm just going to go ahead and do is to use about half of an inch to join from this neck width we have here all the way down to this sleeve length. I don't know if you can see. And I'll go ahead to and join this other side from the neck width down to the full length or the sleeve length of this top. Now flipping it over to the right side, this is what we have here. This is the other side of the sleeve part. I don't know if you can see. Then this is the other part of the sleeve part. It is kind of giving us this kaftan look at the end of it, and we have an opening here. Now let's go ahead and work at the shoulder line for the kaftan method that we have earlier. Now I'm just going to go ahead and open this fabric up this way. I don't know if you can see. Now I'm just going to go ahead and impute back all the shoulder measurements that we took. Now from this neck width part, I'm going to be coming in from this point by our shoulder to shoulder measurement. Remember, I added 1 inch to it. So our shoulder to shoulder measurement is 8 inches from plus 1 inch, that's 9 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 9 inches from this neck width that we have here. Now from that neck width, I'm going to go ahead and impute that 7 inches we added earlier for the kaftan look. I don't know if you can see. So I marked the 7 inches. Now from this point that I marked our shoulder line down to this 7 inches, I'm going to go ahead and divide it into two, and I'll be left with 3.5 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 3.5 inches here. Now for that kaftan look, I'm going to go ahead and pick the center of this part to be at the center. Now I'm going to be picking this side. I don't know if you can see. I'm going to raise the center this way, that 3.5 inch, and I'm going to be placing that 8 inch line and that 7 inch line this way, and I'm going to go ahead and pin that down. I don't know if you can see what I did here. I just had to take up that center part that I had earlier upward, and I took the 8 inches line and the 7 inches line upward this way, and I pinned it down. Now the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to determine where I want the stitches to be stopping. So for me, I'm just going to be stopping the stitches at this round sleeve measurement that I have here. I don't know if you can see. So I think it's about 10 inches that we marked earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 10 inches at both points. So that's where my stitch is going to be stopping. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the sewing machine and use these lines that we have here as a guideline. This line that I marked here and this line that I marked here as a guideline. I'll be stitching it down together from this end down to this armhole line, and from this end down to this armhole line, and I'll be doing the same thing for the other sleeve. So basically at this point, after stitching down the shoulder pad area of this dress, this is what it's looking like. This is what you should have. You should have this kaftan look at the end of your stitching. And if you don't have anything that looks like this, then that means that you are wrong with your sewing. Just go ahead and rewatch the explanation I did earlier. So opening it up, this is what I have. I stitched from this end to this end, but I did not stitch it down to the full length because I'll be joining the side. So I left about 1 inch at that armhole area, and this is what I have. So this is what will give us that kaftan look at the end of the day. And this is the other side too. I don't know if you can see this. So this is what it is looking like. Now I'm going to go ahead and place this normally the same way it should be, turning it over to the wrong side because we'll be joining the sides now. So while flipping this over to the wrong side, please bear with me, my material is a little bit moving. So turning this over to the wrong side, I'm just going to go ahead and stitch the sides of this dress with about 1/2 inch, this side and also this other side with 1/2 inch. And I'll also go ahead and fold the sleeve length, this sleeve rough area that I have here. I'm going to be folding it with 1/2 inch too, and I'll go ahead and do the same thing for the other sleeve length. I was done joining the sides just like I told you earlier, and this is what it is looking like. This is what the side area is looking like, and this is our kaftan look that we have at this point. Now the next thing we are going to go ahead and do is to work on this front area band that we slitted area. So for the length of the band, we are going to go ahead and measure this front piece from this full length end of the center slitted part round to the other full length end of the center of the slitted part. Now just go ahead and do this carefully so that we can get exactly the measurement that we want to work with. So after measuring mine round, I have 93 inches. That's from the end to the other end. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut out the band that is of 93 inches of length. Now for the width of the band, we are going to go ahead and bring out that first piece that we cut out earlier for the back piece. I don't know if you can see. So I'm just going to go ahead and place this knot on fold and measure what we have here. So for here, I think we have 4 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut out a band of 93 inches on length and 4-inch knot on fold because that's what we have here. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut out the band, and I'll be showing you how to attach it. I was done cutting out the band, and this is what I have here. Now the length of this band is 93 inches. I don't know if you can see. Now at this point it was not up to, so I just had to join it at the center part of it. And for the width, I have 4 inches just like we measured earlier. I have 4 inches of the width. Now I'm just going to go ahead and open this band that we have up. We'll just go ahead and open it up this way. Now this is the center that we'll be making use of for the guide. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this way, making sure that each sides are facing each side this way. Now after that, I'm going to go ahead and get my round neck measurement. Now for your round neck measurement, make sure that while measuring it, that it will be able to pass through your neck area while wearing it. So for me, I think I'll be doing 26 inches. So 26 inches divided by 2 will give us 13 inches. So from this point that we have here that is serving as our center line, I'm going to be marking 13 inches at this point. So after marking 13 inches at this point, I'm going to be determining where I want my slit to be starting from. So from the full length of this band that we have here, that's at the length of this band, I want to be coming up by 15 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark 15 inches from this point. Now the next thing I'm just going to go ahead and do right now is from this point that I have this neck length and the sleeve length, I'm going to go ahead and get to the center of this point. Now remember that this band is 4 inches, the center should be 2 inches. So go ahead and mark 2 inches all the way down. I don't know if you can see. So I'm just going to go ahead and go over to the sewing machine, and I'll be starting my stitch from this point that I have here all the way to this point. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch only this point, and I'll be leaving this side open and this side open. So at this point, I was done making the stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it right in front of you for you to see what it looks like. So this is the stitch that I made earlier. So I'm just going to go ahead and open this up to the right side this way. Now, after opening it up, this is what it should be looking like. I don't know if you can see. You should be having something that looks this way. Now, turning this over to the wrong side for us to see the opening part, you will see that each side is already aligning with each side. Okay, let me flip it over to the wrong side for you to see. So this is what it should be looking like at the end of the day. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this over to the iron and iron this open for it to be able to relax. Now for your band, I forgot to tell you that you can also choose to go ahead and add an S-stay to it to make yours a little bit stronger. But for me, I think I'll be doing it this way. That's why I didn't bother to add an S-stay to it. But if you want, you can also go ahead and do it. So I'm just going to go ahead and iron this out. But before we iron it out, I'm going to show you how to attach it directly to your fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the fabric that we have earlier this way. I don't know if you can see, and I'll make sure that I place it at the right side, making sure that each side of it is aligning together. Now this is what we have. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this my main piece into two for us to get the back center. Now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and notch the back center neck area, just like you see me do over here. Now after notching it, I'm going to go ahead and bring the band that we have earlier. Now this neck area that we have, remember that from this center part we have to this point is our neck area. Then from the other place that is open is our slit area. I don't know if you can see. This is the neck area and this is the slit area. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring this band that we have this way. And I'm going to go ahead and place this open edge that we have towards the inside of this neck area. I don't know if you can see. Let me explain it again. For the attachment of this band, this folded area, this folded open edge, as you can see, should be placing inward to this place. Now I'm going to go ahead and place it this way, making sure that it is facing the right side of our fabric. Now the open edge should be facing right side of your fabric this way. So I'm just going to go ahead and pin this down so that I'll show you what it looks like. After getting the center, just go ahead and flip this over to the wrong side. Flip it over to the wrong side this way. Flip the fabric on itself over to the wrong side. And this is what you should be having here. Now flipping it over to the wrong side will make it very easy for you to stitch it down. So just go ahead and take this open edge that we have here to stitch down to the front part of this place that we have here, all the way down. I don't know if you can see. So let me just go ahead and pin it for you to see what it looks like. After I went ahead to finish pinning this at the wrong side that I told you to flip it earlier. Now this is what it should be looking like at the wrong side. Let me just go ahead and arrange it for you to see what it should be like. Now this should be the wrong side of it. So I'm just going to go ahead. I use about half of an inch to stitch this part that I joined to the main fabric all the way down to the full length. And I'll also go ahead and do that to this side. At this point, after attaching the neck bands to it, this is what it is looking like. I haven't ironed it yet. So this is what you should have at the end of the day. Here should be your neck area and here should be the center slit that you have. Now the next thing we are going to go ahead and work on is at that circle side ruch that we saw on the thumbnail. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring any sides first. Now we are going to go ahead and come up from the full length of this gown. I'm going to be coming up by 6 inches or 7 inches. Okay, let's do 7 inches from the full length. So I'm going to be coming up by 7 inches at this point, and I'm going to mark the 7 inches down just like you see me do over here. So I already marked 7 inches down. So from that point that I marked 7 inches, I'm just going to go ahead and create a kind of a circle from this side that I joined earlier, just like you see me do over here. Now you wouldn't want to go in so deep because we're still going to be folding a casing where we'll be inserting the rope for it. So just go ahead and make a little curve this way for a C shape. And I'm also going to go ahead and do the same thing for this other side, and I'll go ahead and cut it off. After cutting it off, this is what I have here. I don't know if you can see. So opening it up, I have this center circle, something you see over here. So before we fold the full length of our dress, I'm just going to go ahead and fold in a casing for where our rope will be passing from. So I'll go ahead and fold in half of an inch or quarter of an inch first. Now the next folding should be giving me a space that should be about 1 inch or half of an inch. So I'm going to go ahead and fold in a casing from this point all the way down to this point, and I'll also go ahead and fold in a casing from this point all the way down to the other point. At this point I was done folding in that circle area I told you, and I left about a little bit space of opening where I will be inserting my rope into, and I also do the same thing for this other side. I also went ahead immediately to fold my rope. Now the length of this rope, I went ahead to measure from this point of this circle edge from the full length down to the other side. So I got about 20 inches, and I also went ahead to cut out a band of 20 inches. Now for the width before folding was 1.5 inches. Now you want to make your band more tinier so that it will be able to pass through this little space you created at that circle part of it. So I went ahead to fold mine, and this is what I have here. So before inserting the rope to it, I'm just going to go ahead and fold the full length of this dress with about half of an inch. I'm going to fold it, and after folding it, I'm going to be inserting this rope that we have here. So for the insertion of our rope area, you go ahead and get an office pin. I don't know if you can see. Just go ahead and attach it to any end of your band and close it up. Now from the other side to the other side, we are just going to go ahead and pass our band from any side of the opening that you feel is okay by you. Just go ahead and insert your rope to it. At this point, I was done inserting our rope to that opening that we had earlier. So the next thing I'm just going to go ahead and do is to ruch the sides by drawing the strings that I have at this point. I don't know if you can see. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw the strings. So after that, how you can now style this is just for you to go ahead and tie the end rope of this, and you will have that circle ruched effect that you see at our thumbnail, and this is it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing for the other side. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for this other side with our same rope, and that will definitely be the end of this tutorial. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also turn on your notification bell to be notified whenever we post a new video. See you in our next video. Bye.